Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're happy to have so many people joining us today for our session to get to know Insightful so that your team doesn't miss out on key news and information on your donors and prospects. We are at the top of the hour, so let's get started. My name is Catherine Bergerson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing. I'll be joined today by my colleague, Sarah Landman. As we get started, just a couple of housekeeping items to share with you and what we're going to go through in the next 30 minutes or so. Want to let you know we are recording the session. We plan to share a bit about who we are as a company, some of our customer success stories, and also show you how Insightful actually works. We want today to be conversational, and so we're happy to answer your questions. There should either be a gray bar that says questions or chat, or perhaps it's an icon that you can press that will allow you to input your questions. So we will pause throughout the presentation today to take your questions. We'll do our best to get to all of them. If we run short on time, we commit to getting back to you in the very near future. So if you take a look also in the handout section, there is all of today's information. You have our contact information and details that you can download there. And at the end of our session, as we said, if you are here and when we pull names out of the hat or the jar, you may win a free subscription to Insightful. So please stick around for that, and we look forward to seeing who our winner will be. If that sounds good to everyone, we'll dive right in. Quickly, just a bit of background about Insightful. Insightful is a new software that automates the process of news and information about your donors wherever they are in the world. And it provides vetted, credible information to deepen your donor relationship so ultimately you can raise more money for your mission. And the way we accomplish that is through an easy-to-use interface that efficiently delivers the right information to the right person at the right time. The breadth and depth of the information in Insightful is unmatched by any other resource, and all of the information is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from any device. So if you're in the office or your home or a hybrid situation, all of that information can be accessed wherever you have an internet connection. Our parent company is Newsbank, and they power our content. Newsbank is a leading news and information provider, and I'm proud to share with you that this is Newsbank's 50th anniversary. We're so proud of that accomplishment. So the reason we're all here today is to learn more about how you can uncover this critical information and help learn more about your donors and prospects and stay more connected. To lead our discussion is Sarah Landman. Sarah is served as a major gift officer, leader of 2 national fundraising organizations and consulting firms. She's helped raise more than $500 million for nonprofits during her 20-year career. She's a frequent speaker on various topics, including innovative fundraising strategies. She recently presented at the AFP and NEDRA conferences and many more. I think you'll enjoy hearing from her today. She currently serves as the Executive Vice President of Insightful. So please join me in welcoming Sarah Landman. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, Catherine. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. I appreciate your time to learn a little bit more about Insightful. And I want to start out with some of our success stories. So the number one thing that we help our customers do is we help them catch crucial information about their donors that they can't afford to miss, those things that they need to know, and they need to know them in a timely manner. And these are things like awards, if a donor's named to a board, if a donor is unfortunately in an obituary. It's helpful for the nonprofits to know that in order to reach out, to do the right thing, to book travel, to go to a service, to send flowers, to reach out. These are all crucial things for our customers to know and then take action on and be with their donors when newsworthy things are happening, both the positive and the hard things in their lives, because that's really what those donors remember. And if they're making leadership commitments to your nonprofit, it's the right thing to do to know when those things happen and then take the appropriate action. And Catherine, I know you have a video. I'm gonna let the video testimonial from one of our customers speak for itself instead of me speaking about it.
We need ways, we need an in, we need a reason to reach out, we need a way to engage. And so Insightful really helps us do both. It helps provide kind of information. It's those alerts of things that come up that we should know about our donors and parents. But also it provides a way to be able to reach out and, especially depending on the nature of the source, but often it's a way to reach out and say, I came across this and this is so exciting. And then it's a natural way to reach out. So it provides that connection point, which is often so much more effective than a cold call. I just don't have the time to do all of that proactive research. And so it's been a great tool just to help me be able, as things rise to the surface, know about it. So we're staying ahead of some of those things instead of being caught unaware. Once I got that foundational work done, now it's just really a 5-minute workflow. So every day I go in, I get those updates. I go through and see if there's anything that really rises to the surface. And so I would say on a weekly basis, I'm passing things on to our officer or our vice president, or things that we're using in strategic ways. The vice president, one of the foundations we work with, had passed away. And so that notice came up and we were able to reach out proactively instead of reactively, which is always helpful, especially as you're stewarding those foundation relationships. And then we found out that one of our alumni had a big wealth event in which his public company had actually returned private, but it had worked out very well for him financially. There was some more venture capital that went in, and so we knew that he had a wealth event. And so we're still working on making that connection as our very most successful alumni are. He's been very busy, but it just helps us know as we work on making that connection, kind of some of those events in kind of ways in which to ask and engage. And those engagement pieces often lead to the longest, to the longest relationships. This parent who was just a parent, hopefully now will become a close friend of the university with some areas of ownership, which really changes the nature of giving. That you're celebrating with them in a way that has nothing to do with asking for money. You're just legitimately celebrating with them or acknowledging their area of expertise and just able to see them as value outside of the dollars you're asking for.
So thank you. Want to talk about a few other success stories of our customers. We work with Columbia University, and they track their principal gifts donors. We have a case study on our website if you'd like to learn more. And they have found that their number one source of finding awards, honors, and board appointments have come from Insightful. They also track donors in other resources, but we were the number one source for them on those awards, board appointments, and honors. And they have shared those insights with their gift officers, their leadership, their president, and that's resulted in outreach to those donors that was timely and important. We also have worked with Cornell, and they needed information on entrepreneurs that received $160 million in venture funding. And they couldn't find information about these entrepreneurs, about the funding anywhere else. They found it in Insightful. And we work with a major medical facility, a national medical facility that I can't name, but I can tell you what they are finding. They are finding quite a bit of information about their donors and their philanthropy. And again, those awards, those honors, those newsworthy things that are happening in the lives of their donors. And they've had a lot of success sharing those insights with their gift officers, with their leadership, for those gift officers and leaders to reach out, to turn that information into outreach, to really build and strengthen those relationships, resulting in greater giving. So that's the main theme of most of our customer success stories, is having that right information at the right time. We work with Vassar College, and they were able to alert a gift officer from information they found in Insightful on an obituary for that donor's father that came through the day before a gift officer was supposed to meet with that donor. And having that information was helpful for them and that gift officer to know what happened and arrive at that meeting to share condolences, to be caring, to not be caught off guard. So again, they're receiving insights to strengthen those relationships and be prepared for whatever happens. And with that, I'm going to share my screen to bring up Insightful.
We can see.
You can see my screen? Okay, excellent. Thank you. So this is Insightful, and what we do is we help our nonprofits stay on top of crucial information about their donors that they can't afford to miss. And the how we do it is in the platform. And logistically, how we work with our customers is they bring in the names of the donors that they want to receive information on. That happens here. And we do that through a basic CSV file upload, and we also have an API connection with Raiser's Edge NXT. So the names of the donors are here, and I'm going to go to a sample donor. This is Patty Baker. I choose Patty Baker because she is a prominent philanthropist in Naples, Florida, where our Newsbank headquarters is based and where I live. And type of information that nonprofits provide us about donors is demographic information, information for us to be able to find those donors in our news resources, information like the cities they're affiliated with, spouse, partner, gift officer assignment, company. So anything that we can use to help find their people in our news resources. And that populates the news feed about that donor. And the how, bigger picture, backing up for a second, the how we provide that crucial news is our sources. Insightful is powered by 14,000 sources from 200 countries, and our platform. We've put those news sources in an easy to use platform, matching the names of the donors and foundations, companies that are important for our nonprofits to know about, and our news sources to make it easy to access. So this is Patty's news feed, and that includes information we have about Patty going back to, in this case, 1983. Typically, our sources go back to the mid-80s. And we overlay a confidence score on those articles that show how confident we are that this article is about the Patty Baker that our customer is looking for. And this article has a high confidence score because the article includes Patty's name, her husband Jay's name, and the city of Naples, Florida. And you click into that article, you receive the full text of that article, and from there you are able to email it, save it to a profile, download it as a PDF, and again, you have that full text. And a benefit there, and this goes to the ease of use and the sources, is you're not stopped by a gate or a paywall to access this news about Patty. And how we're able to do that is Newsbank licenses content from our publishers, those 14,000 sources that I mentioned from the 200 countries. We license that content so that you're not stopped by a gate or a paywall. And I've noticed, and I know our customers and prospects have noticed, that that's more prevalent lately when you are trying to access news about your donors in different places all over the country and the world. We have worked with a news consultant at Newsbank that shared that 70% of news content today is behind some type of paywall. And I imagine that number is only going to increase. And again, Insightful provides you that full text article, so you don't have to worry about who has the login for what resource and get stopped in that process that may prevent you from even accessing that information. And in here, her name is highlighted, so you can quickly see where they're mentioned in the article. Just another way to save you time. So quickly back to the newsfeed and the historical information. The historical information helps our customers really get a sense of the story behind their donors and prospective donors with that news from the 80s, the 90s, even the early 2000s that can be difficult to access. We make it easy in our platform to just learn more about that donor and their background. We did some work with a law school that was able to find valuable information about a donor's family member. The patriarch of the family was a World War II veteran, and that information helped frame the conversation with the new family about scholarships for veterans that they offered at their organization. It just helped strengthen that connection. A number of our customers also use this information and the back information to develop donor cultivation plans, specifically around capital campaigns, when you're looking to make a bigger ask and develop that donor experience plan. So that is what has happened. I like to divide Insightful into what has happened and then what's happening now. So I'll go back to the profiles page. And this is all the people that a nonprofit would want to bring into Insightful. And they have if they need and that's helpful because it's an automatic, smarter Boolean search on everyone they want to bring in. So once you do the upload or connect the API, you get that back, that historical information that I just showed you, and you don't have to pull out, do a manual smart search every time. It's there for when you need it, and you don't have that extra work. But if you want real-time information on a donor, again, to keep on top of that crucial news, you follow that person, and anyone you're following in Insightful, you get an email every morning at 8 a.m., one email, not multiple emails, that shows who you're following that has been in the news. So that's the list on the left here. So I would get one email that would say, you have new information in Insightful. I would see the list of names, and with one click, I would show up on this homepage and see who I'm following that is in the news. And here's an example. So Lee Anderson, I'm following him. And this is an article that shows that he just made a $75 million gift to St. Thomas in Minnesota. And it shows him and his wife. And if I was Lee Anderson's gift officer, and I didn't work at St. Thomas, it would be helpful for me to know that Lee made that gift to congratulate him on his extreme generosity. So again, all of the names are on the left, the article is here, and there's the confidence score as well to save you time. And to send this on to gift officers, leadership, whoever is most appropriate to take that next step with the donor in a timely manner. And I'm going to show you one more thing that's helping our customers. They follow themselves in Insightful, and this is a way for them to uncover donors or prominent alumni that may not be on their radar, maybe young alumni that are advancing in their careers, given awards for alumni publications to maybe put in a gift officer portfolio. This is also a way that our higher ed customers are keeping on top of obituaries where their institution is mentioned, or our nonprofit customers keeping on top of obituaries when in the obit it says in lieu of flowers. And again, obituaries speak to our content. Our content includes obituaries, SEC filings, and marriage, divorce announcements, some real estate information, land transactions, information about special purpose acquisition companies, SPACs, information about privately held companies. Actually, the news is the #1 way to find information about those privately held companies. And that's all in Insightful. And again, that goes back to the depth and breadth of our sources. We have sources that include small town newspapers, community newspapers, and medical journals, some business journals, society papers and sources. A lot of content that talk about people, and that's how we're able to, and your donors, and that's how we're able to get you content, get places like Columbia University content that they're not finding anywhere else and they can't afford to miss. It's not leaving it by chance that the donor might tell you or somebody may see it. It's really codifying that best practice of staying on top of your donors and not missing information. And want to go back to the missing information quickly. We have seen the flip side of that. We work with a customer that before they started working with us, they missed a $70 million obituary for one of their top donors. And the donor was so upset, she went in the press and wrote open letters about it. And another organization that she gave to, that she gave much less to, they caught it. They caught her family member's obituary in the news. And the reason why they caught it was a student worker just happened to see it. So that organization looked like a hero because they acknowledged it and did the right thing. And the other organization lost a $70 million donor. So that unfortunately is the cost of missing information. I've heard that story more times than I like to talk about, or stories like that of just missing out, missing big things like obits where the donor is hurt and upset that the institutions they make leadership gifts to aren't with them during that time or acknowledging their loss, and just missed opportunities of things, of big events in their lives that other nonprofits may catch and acknowledge, and they don't. So Insightful, again, bottom line, we help organizations not miss those key opportunities to connect and really be a good steward of those donor relationships. And I will show you one more quick feature, and that's that you can look up people that may not be in your database or on your radar that you may want to get some background information on. But again, I will end with the most important thing we do, and that's help you keep on top of the news that you and your team need to know, and we make it easy.
Sarah, thank you. Thank you so much for that great information. And we have a lot of questions coming in, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but I'm willing to stay on if you are, Sarah, if you have time, because we have a lot of good questions that have come in.
Great.
As a new customer, how far back do the sources go? And I think the question is it going forward from the time you sign a contract, or do you have access to those historical files?
You have access to the historical files. So it goes back, it depends on when we started getting the feed, but typically it's the mid-'80s and then all the way up till today. And you see those back articles where, here, let me just, I'm gonna like to show people and not just tell. So the back historical information would be here in the news feed. where again, you can filter by year and see what happened when. You can filter by keyword, publications, just to find that information you're looking for. Again, in an easy way. We have tried to make this process as easy as we possibly can because we recognize it's a best practice. And there's barriers to entry with the way that people are currently doing it.
There certainly are. It made it as easy as possible. Another question is about alumni living internationally. Can you talk more about global sources and global sources?
Sure. So our content includes content from 200 countries, and that's helping a number of our nonprofits keep on top of news about alumni family in different parts of the world. And again, providing an easy way to get that information.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, we get this every time. This is like the number one question. How is it different than a Google alert?
Sure. So Google is an ad platform. They are not a news company. They are an ad platform. And the way they get any news that you might get from them is they web scrape. They're doing web scraping. They are not getting the direct feeds from the publishers. We get the direct feeds from the publishers. And I'll tell one quick story to illustrate the impact of that. So we work with a large university in the Midwest, and they were following a donor in Insightful. They were also following a donor through Google. That donor won a major award. It was one of their biggest donors, and they got that information the next day, and they were able to send that to a gift officer that happened to have a meeting on the books scheduled with that big donor. They were able to meet with that donor, be the first to congratulate them, and it was just a really special experience for that donor and that gift officer that helped deepen the relationship. They were also following that donor in Google, and Google didn't serve it up until 3 days after that meeting. So there's a time gap with Google, and also with more going behind paywalls, Google's going to have more limitations. So again, we license the content, we get the feeds, and you get that one email. What I've heard from a number of our customers and prospective customers is that Google Alerts can be cumbersome, and you're receiving email after email after email about people that may not be your person. And those emails, after a while, you can tend to ignore those emails until you miss something, right? And then you're sorry you missed the email, but you don't have enough hours in the day to go through every Google Alert email. So again, we have built this to make the news easy and accessible for you to take that information to deepen those donor relationships.
A question from Daniel. Does Insightful capture appointments and job changes, things like that, life events?
Appointments. Yeah, sorry, I know what you mean now. Like a board appointments, like a government appointment, those types of things. Yes.
To a nonprofit board or something.
Yeah, we do actually, and if it's in the news, and it typically is if you're talking about someone that's on the radar or potential radar for a major gift officer, that's going to be covered somewhere, likely in the communities that they live in, and then that surfaces, and that's exactly the type of information that our customers are taking to reach out and look almost omniscient to their donors, especially if the board appointment or job change happens in a community that is different from the nonprofit. The donors are really impressed that the nonprofit caught the news, reached out so quickly. It's just really helping those relationships.
Great, thank you. We have several more questions. You mentioned the integration with Raiser's Edge. Is that the only integration? Can we speak more about that? And then the second half of the question is, and I think you spoke to this, the competitive advantage over Google or LexisNexis. So perhaps speaking a little bit about integration and LexisNexis, please.
Integration and LexisNexis. Okay. Integration today, the only API integration we have is with Razor's Edge NXT, but we work with actually most of our customers based on that file upload, that basic CSV, and from, I would say, at least 50 to 60 different donor bases. But we work with pretty much any donor database through that basic CSV file. And we have a customer success team that helps you with that every step of the way to make sure that goes as smoothly as possible. And then LexisNexis. So we actually redistribute some of our content to LexisNexis, so they get some of their news content from us, but we have more content, more news content than they do in our product, both current and historical news. And the platform for Lexis isn't meant to be, you have to set up the alerts on people or go looking for this information. Insightful is more of a proactive tool. We're just built differently, where you can follow people and follow more people because it's easier to do with that one click and then get the information. So a number of our customers have LexisNexis. They use that for a number of different things, but they have found that using Insightful is providing them quite a bit of value in addition to what they have in LexisNexis and helping them get that news in an easier way.
Thank you. Thank you. How is, this is another great question. How is this different from what my communications office might be using or doing?
Sure. So your communications office is likely using a media monitoring or web service or web scraping. And this is to follow the institution and maybe some key leaders at the institution. This is different because Insightful was really built to follow your donors, to follow names of people, matching them against those other factors to help you get the right information. The communications team does not have that. They don't do that. They're not monitoring your donors. And even if they did, they would miss a lot because it's web scraping. It's not necessarily licensing the content.
So as a former marketing director at a large nonprofit, I can attest to that it's really the true development team that are following the specific people versus the institution's press coverage or the organization's press coverage. So yeah, that's a great question. Do you get news feeds from publishers in real time or at a certain time during the day? How do the alerts come in?
Sure. So they go into the product when we get the feeds from the publishers, but the alerts happen the morning after at 8 a.m. That's when you are alerted and Insightful. And the reason for that is, again, we wanted it to be easy, 1 email a day, not 10. So that's how that works.
Excellent, thank you. And a question about due diligence. So in terms of using, due diligence is becoming more and more prevalent, and how does Insightful help fulfill that need?
Yes, great question. How Insightful helps with that is we have news going back to, again, the mid-'80s and from 200 countries. So if you go and take a look into somebody's background and something awful has happened, it likely is going to be in one of those sources. It's a pretty good way to see, okay, is there any negative news about this person? We have a really strong amount of coverage, again, from around the world. So it's a good way to really dig into that if you need to do a deep dive. And I know that a number of our customers are using this specifically for international prospects and donors because it can be hard to access international news in an easy way.
Wonderful, thank you. And I know we're going over time here, but we do have a few questions about price and the cost range. We will take those questions and we'll get back to you on an individual basis to answer that. And just to be respectful of time, Sarah, I think we should move on to our prize drawing. And if other questions come in, we'll certainly follow up with you. Yeah, so
Definitely.
let's see who's going to be the lucky winner here.
I'm excited. All right, so I have everyone that is registered other than a few of my team members because they're not eligible in this last bowl. And I'm going to close my eyes and see, I have no idea who I'm picking. They're all the same. I'll mix them up a little bit more.
Love it.
And, okay, do I have one? Yes. Okay. Rebecca Bishop.
Okay, so Rebecca Bishop, if you are on, let us know. I'm looking at the list here. Let's see.
And
Rebecca,
we'll keep drawing until there's somebody.
We'll keep drawing until, yes. Somebody who's, yes, absolutely. So,
Okay,
Rebecca,
so I just want to confirm that Rebecca is not here.
I am looking, I don't see her on the list, and no one has raised their hand to say that they are she. So let's pull another.
Okay, I'm sorry, Rebecca. All right, let me do this again.
Love it.
Okay, do I have one? I want to make sure I only have one. Okay. Jackie Arco. Is Jackie here?
Jackie, oh, I see Jackie's name on the list. Jackie Arco.
You're very lucky. I'm so excited to work with you.
Yay. So Jackie, we will take it. Oh, I'm here, she said, and yes. So Jackie, the team will reach out to you to follow up and get you set up. Oh, how fun. That's wonderful. Congratulations. All right, yay. So just a few quick things to wrap up. Today's presentation is just one step in our commitment to working with you. We invite you, if you and others from your institution or organization would like to get a group together for a personalized demonstration, Sarah and her team are happy to help with that. Please reach out to us. If you would like more information, download the presentation. It's in the handout section, and sometimes it's tricky to find. So if you don't see it in the handout section, send us an email and we'll be happy to send it over to you. Also, we invite you to check out our podcast. It's called No More, Raise More, and it features conversations between donors and gift officers from institutions and organizations around the world. And they share success stories and, maybe some lessons learned along the way. And it's very engaging. So there's a link also in the presentation that you can find it wherever you listen to your podcasts. So as we leave today, here's Sarah's contact information. Again, if you download the presentation or take a quick screenshot, please reach out to us if you have other questions. Those that we weren't able to get to, we will follow up with you in the very near future. As you leave today, there's a brief survey, 3 questions. If you would let us know what you thought about today's session and how we can improve in the future, we would appreciate that. And on behalf of the Insightful team, thank you for sharing part of your day with us.
Thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Bye, everyone. Congratulations, Jackie.
Congratulations, Jackie.